Hello, this is Nicole with Angelic Therapy and Healing. So we are going to be doing something a little different. Instead of doing your typical weekly readings, we're actually going to do a monthly reading for each sign. Hopefully that will help kind of dive into some specifics that are happening with you and your situation at this time to get you some more detailed information particular to you. Do keep in mind this is a general reading. It is for a lot of people. So you might find there's only one or two messages for you. When I do these readings, I do pray, prepare, shuffle. I do ask that each of you receive at least one message, but it is good to keep in mind it is for a large audience. And if you find that not much is resonating with your sun sign, go ahead and listen to your moon or your rising. You might be able to get some information from those as well. And if you're still finding there's only a few messages, that's good. That means things aren't too bad. So I would be thankful for that. Now, for those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. Glad to have you here. If you don't know much about me, I survived a bombing in Afghanistan. And at that time, spiritual gifts were opened up, like blasted open up. I am clairaudient. I hear Jesus and the angels talk to me. I'm a medium. I'm an empath. I'm certified by Doreen Virtue. I have a couple certificates by her. I am a quantum touch energy medicine practitioner. For those of you that aren't familiar, it's a healing modality. So like in a 3-hour healing session, and I give all the credit to God, 3-hour healing session, I've had hundreds of people healed of cancer, multiple sclerosis, even like hip replacements, and down to things that are less severity, like healing broken bones, healing torn tendons, whatever it is, it can be taken care of with quantum touch. So welcome. You can read more about me. I'm not going to go into any more details, but there is an About Me section on the webpage. Feel free to check that out. For those of you that have been here for a while, thank you. Glad to have you continuing to return. Thank you for your subscriptions, your comments. Thanks for sharing these videos. I do love hearing how these are helping you. So even though I can't respond to all of you, continue sending the comment away. I do love reading them. Now, for those of you that are going to be asking about sessions or readings, I'm still not accepting new clients because I am booked out quite a bit in advance with current clients, but please stay tuned. As soon as my retirement is finalized, I will then open up for new clients. It should be happening in the very, very near future. I will announce it in these readings. So as soon as it's announced, then you will be able to go online and book appointments. So we are going to do a little educational bit. And actually this is going to be the same intro for every single sign. So if you do go and listen to your moon or rising, you can skip past this part. I know a lot of you are going to skip past this anyhow, but I would encourage you to stay because it is going to help you kind of understand what's going on right now with the energy. So as we all know, the energy is extremely intense right now. It has been for most of the year, but especially since we had the eclipse on March 21st. And it's, as you notice, everyone's like, oh, why hasn't it settled down? Because it's starting to ramp up even more. And it's going to continue like this all the way through the end of December. Many of you know that on September 23rd, there is going to be that Revelation sign. If you are not familiar, there are a bunch of videos on YouTube. Just go to watch whichever one you are guided to watch, and you'll be able to get some information on that. The should all be sealed by September 23rd. And what you're going to find is things are going to start to ramp up even more than they are. So if you've not done any research yet, there is this Schumann resonance, and it's the Earth's heartbeat. Essentially what it is, the Earth has a frequency, and it's an interplay with our electromagnetic field. Essentially, it's the pulses of energy between the Earth's surface and our ionosphere. And for years and years and years, the Earth's resonance heartbeat was at 3 hertz. And what they noticed in teen is that it began increasing. And if you think of it, it's kind of like an alpha theta, like a dream state. You're very calm, you're very relaxed. Once it gets over 5, that's kind of like, actually over 15, it's kind of like an awakened calm. So like an awakening, spiritual awakening. And that is why a number of people have been going through all this awakening stuff. It's been particularly intense for millions of people since teen, and it's continued to increase. They found that in teen, it had jumped to over 6+ hertz. And once you get over 6, it's kind of like there's this nervousness and anxiety in people's brain versus that calm, healthy state. But what that does is that starts to change our DNA. That starts to bring in more of God's light. It pushes out the dark. And we see that every day. We see these things happening, and we're kind of shocked that these things are happening in our world right now. But in order to fill things with more light, with more love, you have to get rid of the dark. And you got to push the dark out so it comes to the surface, so we get to see more of it. Now, on a personal level, what's happening for us is that's forcing all of us to release our own individual darkness, our karma. We have to release those things. We have to learn those lessons. We have to heal those things. That's why we've been under such intense pressure and being pushed, kind of like in a pressure cooker that's about to bubble over, because there's just so many things being pulled from our lives, released from our lives, let go. But that is because we're being filled with more light, more of God's light, love, coming into a state of unconditional love. To come into that state, we can't hold on to the darkness anymore. We can't hold on to people that aren't meant for us. We can't hold on to situations that aren't meant for us. All those things that do not serve us, all those things that are not of love, of unconditional love, and even down to not loving ourselves, that all has to go. Has to be released, has to be healed. Lessons have to be learned. Things have to be let go of. And that's prepare us for things that are to come. And it's all this big awakening that we're going through, this ascension process. And there's a lot of ascension symptoms and things that you go through. There's actually a guy that does YouTube videos. I don't often have time to watch his videos, but when I do, he's got really good videos. And I think he posts one per day. But if you want to check him out, I'll put a link to his YouTube channel below. His name is Victor Odo, and he talks about the ascension process. And he gives tips and pointers and things that you can do to ground yourself, to release things, because there's a lot that you can do. I mean, if you're struggling, because a lot of people have been struggling since the 21st. They've had a lot of ailments, conditions, headaches, rashes, all types of things popping up. Tonight, fill your tub, fill it up with some water, put some Epsom salt in there, and soak in the tub for minutes. That will release those physical toxins, that will release those emotional toxins, that will help you get to feeling better. Anytime you feel these things bubble up, that's because you're releasing things. And in order to speed that up, soak in the tub, go see a healer, walk outdoors in nature. You know, for some it's also changing diet, but there's things that you can do to help this, help your system quickly release it. And he does cover those things in his videos. Now, you will find, because a lot of you, again, since the eclipse, you've had just a lot of intense energy, weird things happening with your body, headaches that won't go away. A lot of you are kind of feeling like anxious, like, oh gosh, something's about to happen. I don't know what's about to happen, but I'm a little anxious. I don't know why. That's because things are going to be continuing to accelerate. Clear up until September 23rd. Now, with the whole ascension process, it's still going to be intense after that, but you will get a bit of a breather. So once we get over, you get to take a deep breath, kind of calm down a little bit. But it is in preparation for things that are to come. So I'm going to share some information, and don't be worried about this information. It's all good. It's all bringing us to a better place. It's not something to freak out about. But when you read the Bible and you look at that, what it talks about in the Bible, like the rapture, that is true. These things we are going to see in our lifetimes, those of us that are here right now. And again, it's not something to fear. But what we're doing is we're preparing essentially for, if you look at it, it's kind of like the earth is going to be splitting into two. So there will be like this new earth. There's actually some videos out there. Dolores Cannon, she did hypnosis sessions, and people were always talking about this new earth, this split. And many of the things that she shares in her videos are true. Now, not everything, but things are. So what I would recommend is check out some of her videos. You know, pray, ask that your angels and God and Jesus, ask that they come and they help you discern what is true and what is not. And ask that they help fill in some blanks for you. Because you'll find if you ask that, you will know immediately something that's resonating with you that, yeah, that is true. That is spot on. You'll know what is not, and they will fill in the blanks for you. But you do have to pray and ask that they do that beforehand. But what's described in the Bible, and actually if you look at, you know, religious texts and look at them, there's actually bits and pieces from different parts, because, you know, Jesus was a Jew. He actually was an Essene. The Essenes are the foundation of Christianity. It kind of all grew and evolved from there. But what it talks about with that, going to be going through the rapture process, things are going to appear that are like that. Now, the severity of things that do occur as we're going through these changes do hinge off of where we are as a collective. We can make things not as bad. We can make things worse. It depends on whether we're coming from a place of love or whether we're coming from a place of fear, where we're all coming from too, and what we're contributing to that. But we are going to get to a state in this split where millions of people are going to disappear. What is going to appear for the people that are on old Earth is that, they'll wake up, because it will happen in an instant, in the twinkling of an eye, and just millions of people will be gone. And those that are going to be gone, those are going to be the people that believe. They believe in God. They believe in Jesus. Not to delve too deeply into texts and things to look at in scriptures and stuff, but I encourage all of you as we go through this to do your own research, look at things and see what really truly resonates with your heart and soul. Because what you'll find is you'll learn a lot, and you'll find that these things are going to resonate with you. Because when you watch, Dolores Cannon, she did these hypnosis sessions, and they're coined QHHT sessions. When you watch those, you'll find a lot of people, when they talk about the new Earth, when they are asked what's required to get to the new Earth, they always, they'll say that, they have to believe. They have to believe in God. They have to believe. That's true. Now, when you look at Jesus, when Jesus was here, again, he was born Jewish, he was in a scene, but he loved everyone. It didn't matter the color of your skin. It didn't matter what your religious upbringing was. He traveled around. He loved everyone. He was here as a savior or Messiah for everyone here on earth. Everyone. All of us. Every single one of us. And it's interesting because when I do healing sessions, and I'm a seer as well. Oftentimes when I'm doing them, I'll see what clients are physically wearing on the other side of the world while I'm working on them. But when I'm doing these healing sessions, and it might be a client or someone doing soul contract cancellations with or whatever, the moment that Jesus comes into the scene, because when I'm doing these sessions, Archangel Michael's always there, Archangel Raphael's usually there, but sometimes Jesus will come in during the session, and the moment that he enters, the client, their family members, whomever else is there, all of them will immediately drop to the ground and bow down to him, because he emulates that power. Jesus is power. He is the light. He is the light that will snuff out the darkness. And he truly is. Like if you look at near-death experiences, when people have a God come in, that they meet, that they get to experience, it's always Jesus. And I encourage you to try it for yourself, actually. Because again, we're all supposed to learn. We're not supposed to just blindly believe things that we're told. We're even taught that, in the biblical texts. We're supposed to learn. We're supposed to discern. We are supposed to dig. We're also supposed to ask, and we will receive the guidance and information. Not to trust what others are giving us, not to be deceived. So many of you, because you are going through this ascension process, many of you are actually under psychic attack right now. There is a spiritual war going on between light and dark. So many of you are being attacked by darker entities. You know that because you're having bad dreams, or your animals or your kids are just fighting all the time. It's like there's a lot of this anger and hatred in your home. Or maybe you're tripping when you're at the house, and it's kind of like you feel like someone pushed you or shoved you, or you accidentally cut yourself and you're like, I wasn't even doing it. It's almost like something else did it to you. Or maybe in your dreams you're getting red eyes, or you're having a really lot of dark dreams, and they're kind of scary and worrisome. When you're experiencing those things, that's because something dark is in your home. It's very easy to remove those things. Now, you can, in your own power, command that person to leave, that entity to leave. You can call upon any higher power that you want to. You can say in their name for it to leave. What you will find is that entity will not leave. However, when you command it to leave in the name of Jesus, and you call on God and Jesus to help you, and you command it in the name of Jesus to leave, you'll find that you and your family get instant relief, that it's gone. And that's something I encourage clients to do right away, because, you know, I'll talk with clients, they'll be like, oh my gosh, all these bad things are happening and I don't know how to stop it. And when I recommend that they try that, suddenly the dark stuff's gone. Suddenly their kids are getting along. Suddenly their animals are getting along. Suddenly they're not tripping and hurting themselves anymore, because there is power in the name of Jesus, and it's gone. But you, again, don't have to believe me. Try it yourself. See how it works. Now, I know I've shared in some other videos that last November I was falling asleep, and there was this, it was as though someone was standing outside of a bedroom playing a trumpet. Now, it's interesting because in, you know, Jewish, there's different, you know, feasts that they have. They have feasts of trumpets. Then these are very important points when you look at things that have happened worldwide that are big, that have been, you know, foretold in our theological religious texts, not just Christianity. They happen on a Jewish feast, because that's how God times things. That's how Jesus times things. And so we were around one of the feasts, and I hear like someone, it's as though literally standing outside the bedroom window playing a trumpet. And then within a couple days, I was unloading a car, I was outside, and all of a sudden I heard this, like a horse, and it literally blew on neck and jumped, and made me jump, and I was startled. And it was Jesus on this white horse, and he told me to not be afraid, and he told me that it's time to prepare, it's time to start preparing. Now, if you're familiar, Jesus on a white horse, when he returns on a white horse. So, and you can research that and check that out, but there are things that are about to occur, that are about to happen. So, like some have noticed, like we've had a lot of people passing away the past 2-3 years, and like people that are young, totally unexpected, and it's been a lot of people. Like, you know, in our lifetimes, we've never seen anything like this until recently. That's going to continue into early 2018. That's because our loved ones, they know what's about to come. They want to witness it from the other side. They don't want to get to experience it with us. They will be with us. They will be helping us. They're just going to be doing it from the other side. They're going to let us have the experience. And that's why there have been so many of them passing on, because they have made that choice to not be on this side for everything. Now, again, it's not something to be afraid of. But what will happen is these people who believe they will disappear. They'll be on this new earth. Now, that new earth, I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of details about that, but maybe at some point we'll do some down the road when they tell me it's time. We'll do some educational video about that. But essentially, people will be there for about 1,000 years. Eventually, it's like the returning to Garden of Eden. And over that time, over that 1,000 years, people's bodies will evolve into light bodies. So then it will eventually evolve to the point that, you know, people are there, but they're not physical bodies. So, but we'll talk about that more later. Simultaneously, around that same time, what will happen is these people will disappear, and that's going to be millions. Because a lot of people think that they're going to be left behind because, you know, the Bible states they're only going to be ascending. No, millions of people who are believers, are going to just boop, disappear. Almost at that exact time, immediately following the disappearance within minutes, the 100 will ascend. And those that are here on old earth will physically see them ascending. And what they're going to see is they're going to see Jesus on a white horse. They're going to see his army of angels behind him, and they're all on white horses. And those that are going to ascend, they are angels incarnated. They're physically in human bodies right now, but they will be ascending. They are part of God's army. And that's going to be kind of like the final throwdown with the dark. But once that's all done, and that's going to be very swift and quick. I mean, if you look at human times, it's going to be something's going to happen in under an hour. It's going to be very, very fast. And then those will meet their families on the new earth. And it will seem like they weren't even gone. It will seem like, you know, seconds. But it's not anything to fear. You really don't have anything to fear and worry about. I mean, if you look at it, if you're listening to this video, you're preparing to go to New Earth. You're experiencing all these ascension systems, all these ascension symptoms. You're preparing. Your system's changing. Your body's changing. You are preparing to make that change, make that leap. That's a beautiful thing. And when you look at it, I mean, it's been a struggle for us because we've had to lose friends, we've had to lose lovers, we've had all these things taken out of our life. But that's because those things aren't good for us. And we're going to a place that's filled with love and bliss and joy and unconditional love. those things were not of unconditional love. So they're not meant to go with us. That's why we have to let them go. You can even find that you're having very positive experiences. Like maybe I was talking with a friend and, we were having a conversation about how, you can be driving the same path as someone else to work at the same time. And maybe you don't experience any traffic and you don't experience any car accidents. It's like easy breezy. You're hitting every green light. You're like, this day is amazing, best ever. But then you talk to your friend who drove the same time, the same route, and they experienced nothing but stop traffic, red lights, car accidents. It was a horrible drive to work for them. That's because you're starting to see the split. The split's starting to already occur. So some of us are having really good positive experiences. Some of us are not having such good experiences. The split's starting to occur. And that's why now is the time to prepare. It's time to prepare spiritually. It's time to prepare mentally. It's time to prepare physically. And what that really means to us is it's time to stop the distractions. The angels have been talking nonstop in all of our videos the past couple months is stop the distractions, stop the multiple relationships, the rebounds, the drugs, the addictions, the behaviors that aren't, in your highest good. If you're supposed to be, because those of us that have things that we still need to let go of that we're like clinging tightly to, we know what it is that we're being guided to do and let go of. We know that. It is time to do those things that we're being guided to do. So if you're being guided to let go of an ex or a partner or job or even a diet change, whatever it is that you're being guided to do that. Because some of us, because the things that we're still holding on to, we're holding on to it out of fear. We are terrified to let that person go, that thing go, because that's been constant for us. That's been, even though it's not been happy, it's been stability for us. It's been comfort for us. We don't want to venture into the unknown, but that is the one thing that is not meant for us. It's not good for us. We know that. But instead of dealing with that, many of us have turned to other relationships, or we've turned to alcohol, or we've turned to drugs, or we've turned to pornography, or we've turned to anything and everything that will keep us off of doing what we're meant to do, keep us from having those conversations, keep us from ending those ties, keep us from signing the paperwork. But the time has come to do those things because they're trying to bring us back to a state of unconditional love. They're trying to bring us to a state of loving ourselves, loving others. They're bringing us into a state of wholeness. We can't be whole and happy with this baggage we keep lugging around. We have got to let the baggage go because we're drowning. We've been struggling to tread water for a while and it's drowning us. So we've got to let that dead weight go. And what you will find this weekend, if you happen to listen to this, the first weekend of November, for those of us in the United States, should be celebrating Labor Day. But it'll be this weekend all the way through the full moon that we're going to be having this first week of summer. It's going to be intense. You're going to feel some of that intensity that you felt around the eclipse. That's because they're hitting us to release those things that don't serve us. So, like maybe you're noticing a repeated theme. Like something keeps happening over and over and over, but you're clinging to something you need to let go of. It's time to let go because you can't take that with you. You can't take that person with you. So maybe you started, dating someone else. Maybe there's an ex you're supposed to be letting go of. And, you've not let that ex go because maybe you think it's going to change. Or maybe there's money worries. Or you're afraid of going into the unknown. Or it could be that like your family relies, and I'm not talking to your kids because you still get to take care of your children. You need to keep taking care of your children. But I'm talking about like maybe their family counts on you, their siblings or something. Or maybe there's like some community connection with them and you don't want to let them down. But for some reason, if you boil it down though, it's fear. You continue to hold on to them. But maybe you're not talking with them at this point. You've not ended the final ties. So while you're sitting in this place of limbo, knowing that you're to release that ex, and you haven't, not wanting to deal with it, you start jumping into other relationships. And maybe you jump into a rebound relationship. But you're discovering that rebound is a lot like your ex. Maybe they are very manipulative, or maybe they really try and nag you into doing things or push you to do things, or maybe they're trying to push you to quickly commit, or they could be like a me person. self-centered, it's all about them. Or they make you feel bad in order to get you to do something that they want you to do. And you feel kind of like, dang, this is like my ex. I feel like I've jumped back into ex. That's because it's a repeated pattern. You are seeing the same attributes and characteristics of your ex because you have not released your ex. You have not released that karma. You have not learned that lesson. So it's ramping up. It's ramping up because it's time to let that person go. So this weekend through the full moon, this next week, people are going to have some huge breakthroughs, some big epiphanies, some ahas. That is meant to help you let go of that fear that is keeping you from taking that leap of faith, that final step of clearing that karma, releasing that person, releasing that situation, because the time has come. And we've been pushed to do this for a couple years, because what you'll find is essentially the way the planets are going to be aligned at this time is the same way they were aligned during the eclipse in teen. So some of you were being pushed to release the exact same thing or person 2 years ago. But what happened is you did not want to let go. You're like, oh, hell no. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to hold on with both hands. I'm going to cling with both legs. I'm going to drag on their leg because I'm not letting them go. This is my plan. I'm sticking to it. I refuse to release it or release them. But you clung on. So for some of you, say it was a love interest. You know, in the fall, heading into the winter of 2018, you decided to, maybe you proposed to them. Maybe you remarried them. Maybe you married them. Maybe you stopped divorce proceedings. Or it could be maybe you stayed at that job. But instead of letting go, you went the opposite direction. You clung out of fear. For many of us, the exact same thing we were to release in teen is boiling back up. And many of you have seen that same exact situation bubble up recently. And you're really going to see it bubble up this week because it's out of fear that you're clinging on to it. Or clinging on to them. The time has come. It is time to let them go. It is time to let the situation go. We are really being pushed to take that leap of faith. Take that plunge. Release the fear. Release them. We're also going to be pushed to deal with the things that we keep ignoring. So maybe we don't want to deal with it because it's going to be an uncomfortable conversation or a difficult conversation, or it's going to be, you know, outside of our norm, outside of our comfort zones. We're like, oh gosh, I just don't want to deal with that. I just can't deal with that right now. I'd rather just keep burying my head in the sand or burying my head in someone else instead of having to deal with it. It's coming to a culmination point where it has to be dealt with. That's why we have been under so much intense pressure now for a couple years. Because we have to release it. We have to let it go. We can't go to the new earth. We can't go through this ascension stuff that's about to happen until we release these people, these situations, this karma. If you look at it, an easy way to look at it is to sit down and think, okay, what was I supposed to learn from this person? Because if you look at it, or situation, typically there's something that you were to learn to love yourself unconditionally. Because if we love ourselves unconditionally, we won't allow people to treat us that way. We won't allow them to make us feel as though we are less than. We will establish healthy boundaries. We will not tolerate a job where we are not respected and valued. But we have to love ourselves. But instead of getting so wound up in emotions, if we can separate and look at it, and also pray, God, Jesus, angels, help me. What was I supposed to learn from this? Because as soon as you realize what you were supposed to learn, suddenly you don't have the emotions, you don't have the desire to cling to them anymore. You're like, okay, deuces. Deuces, learned it, don't want to go through this anymore, I'm tired of this crap. And for those of you that have found a rebound that they're the exact same as an ex, you'll be done with them too. Because you're like, no, I deserve better than that. I am worthy of better than that. I am so worthy of so much better. And I've now figured out what I was supposed to learn, and I'm done with it. But the time to do that is now. Because you can't take them with you. And you don't want to be stuck here because you can't release that fear. You can't release those words. You can't come back to a state of loving yourself unconditionally. That's why we're all being pushed. It's gotten so intense for all of us. But for those of us that have released things, congratulations, because those of you that have released those big karmic things, yeah, the eclipse it was intense for everybody. It was still intense. It might have bothered you a little bit, but you weren't depressed. You weren't having panic attacks. You're just kind of breezing through it. Congratulations. You have released your big lessons, your karma. You are prepared. You are ready. For those of you that are not, use this time to let it go, to sit down, and also to face your emotions, because for some of you, they're saying you don't want to deal with it because you do not want to face your emotions. You don't want to share them. You don't want to acknowledge that you have them. You don't want to open up. You don't want to be honest. You don't want to be honest with yourself. You don't want to be honest with others. This is the time to do that. Let those walls down. Take your mask off. It will be worth it. And for those of you that are fearing the conversations, they're not going to be as difficult as you think they will be. Because if it's meant to be, if it's a conversation to let someone or something go, it's going to go really easy, and you're going to release that instantaneously because you have so much support on the other side. And also on the flip side, if it's a conversation for someone that you're meant to bring into your life or something that you're meant to do, that's going to go really easy too. Because sometimes we beat ourselves up because we think, oh, I really messed that up real bad. That's not going to happen. Don't have those fears. Just, you have an entire team helping you. Ask that they help you. Because again, the thing to keep in mind, our angels cannot help us unless we ask for their help. Because we have free will. The only time they will ever step in without us asking is if it's life or death. If it's not our time to go, they're going to step in and keep us here. Other than that, they will face palm all day long and wonder, why won't you ask? We can help you. We can make it easier. Just ask for their help. They will make it easy. It'll be a breeze. Because if you had nothing but heartache and trials and tribulations and blocks and headaches this whole time, you know what you're being guided to do. You got this whole team behind you that's going to help you execute it and make those changes. Let them help you. Ask them, they help you do that this week. It'll be worth it. And then you'll find that you're not going to be stuck in this little hell any longer, because for those of you that have clung on, it's been a pretty miserable 2 years. Aren't you ready for things to get better? For things to get better, it's time to stop the distractions, do what you're being guided to do. Because when you've released that person, situation, that karma, you've learned that lesson, you will be back to a state of loving yourself. You will not feel bad about making choices that are good for you. You will not allow someone to control and dominate you. You will set healthy boundaries, and you'll just come back into a state of bliss, of happiness, where life's easy, where you're that person who's driving down the road and you've got every green light and you're listening to your favorite song and you're getting a little dance party going on in your car. You're like, life is so good. Thank you for this. Life is good. To come back to a state of loving life and loving every minute of it and knowing that life is good, you got to do your work. But it's not going to be as hard as you think. So they're there. Let them help you. Do that. Use this time. Use this energy. Use your team and just do it already. Get her done. And then get back to your happy, because they're ready to bring you some happy. Okay, so I know that was long, and I'm going to do each of your signs and astrological readings. So just know that however long this is right now, you're just going to get to skip past this on each of them. I will put it at the beginning of each one. And let's go ahead and get started with your monthly astrological readings. Hello, Aries. Okay, let's go ahead and see what is going to be happening for you in the month of November. For those of you that are interested in the cards that we are using today, this card has shown up in like 5 or 6 other readings. It's a repeat offender. But anyhow, if you are interested in the cards, we are using Doreen Virtue's Fairy Tarot cards, as well as her Archangel Michael Oracle, her Queen of Angels Oracle, and Colette Baron Reed's Wisdom of the Oracle. I have also prayed over, prayed over and shuffled Sibylla's, Lenormand's, and Findicicles. So those will be ready if we need clarifiers at any point. I have asked that all of you receive at least one message. Hopefully you will get one. And hopefully you'll get more than one. Give me a second, I'll shut off fireplace. It is freezing only in Ohio. Do you need to turn your fireplace on? It just doesn't help. When I do these readings, I have a lot of hot and cold sensations anyhow, because the energy. But it is freezing in Ohio today. Oh goodness. Cards are moving all around. Okay, great. You can see those. Let me get this shut off real quick. Okay. Okay. Wow, you are going through it this month. You have 3 major arcanas. And the thing is, major arcanas, you have 3. Those are big, they're huge. They're life lessons. They are things that are destined. They are things that are fated. They are things that we don't really have control over. I mean, we do have free will here on Earth, but some things are just fated, meant to be, and they're going to happen. And that's kind of where you're at this point, Aries. I think of all the signs so far, I only have 2 more left to do. You have the most major arcanas. You do have 1 minor arcana, pip card. And that nice thing, that is your situation. So that is something you do have a little bit more control over. What we have today, we have your situation. We have the foundation, what has led to the situation. We have what is blocking you, and then what is unknown to you at this time. And then across the top, we have some recommendations that the angels have for things for you to do this month. Now in the center, you have winter. Traditional tarot, this would be swords. It's all about thoughts. And at the bottom it says, the resolution of difficulties, a weight lifted off your shoulders, an end to an addiction or codependency. And this is all about leaving a situation that's not serving you, a situation that's keeping you stuck, a situation that's holding you back. And although it's sad, you feel like you're kind of in the cold, things will get better. You'll come out on the other side. It's about a fresh start, a new beginning. But I get for most of you, in the traditional tarot, this is a person that, you know, they have these. Actually, let me see if I have it nearby. I might have it in the Gilded nearby. I can show you. Let's see here. Without knocking stuff down. I love Gilded Tarot. Because I get for you, there's actually a little bit of a different meaning for you guys. For a lot of people in the readings that I've been doing for it has been all about like leaving a lover, leaving a partner. But for those of you that are in this situation, it's kind of like someone has betrayed you. Like they've stabbed the swords in your back. Ah, there it is. Okay. You're feeling betrayed by someone, and you're really stressing and worrying over it. Some of you, it's even kind of starting to affect your health. Okay. Traditional tarot, or the Gilded. It has a figure. He's laid down. He has these swords in his back. Figurative swords. Many of you are feeling betrayed by someone. You feel as though you have just been stabbed in the back. And it was totally unexpected. By some of you, it's like family members. Family members. I mean, obviously we love our family, but it's not like a lover. It's not like a romantic partner, but rather a family member. But it's very cold and icy, and it's almost like you're doing battle from a distance. These fairies up here and down here in this valley, and you have all these mountains. It's a distance. Some of you, it's like you're doing a battle at a distance, but you are very worried. You're very upset. You're distraught. You're just worn out, emotionally exhausted and worn out. And you're kind of feeling like you can't do anymore. This is the foundation. This is also what has led to the situation. You have Major Arcana, Justice. And at the bottom it says, take the time to review the details carefully. You will win in the end. Fair and objective decisions. And this is all about really sticking to our views, our principles, our morals, you know, standing up for ourselves, trusting that our opinions are correct, and having the strength to share those opinions, share those beliefs, share what's a priority to us. It's also about knowing things that will work out in our favor. You see, you've got these 2 twins that are there. And they're sitting before Excalibur, the legendary Sword of King Arthur. And they have come because they need help. They've come to the sword because it's like, we need some assistance. Please help us. Please bring things into balance. Please bring us the assistance that we need. It's also a card about standing up for the truth, being an advocate. Now this is also, you know, balancing the scales. You see that they're holding scales, balancing those scales out. Karma, bringing things full circle, completions. You know that our past actions will determine our future. Things that we've done will, you know, they'll show themselves in the future, things that we've done in the past. So, you know, kind of like karma never loses an address. So we reap what we sow. Things at some point will balance out. They will come out to balance. They're saying for some of you, it's almost like you're stuck in a state of despair and hopelessness. You're just very fearful how things are going to turn out, fearful that it's not going to turn out in your favor. Because like a decision needs to be made, or you're trying to make a decision. Okay, a decision is being made and you're fearful it's not going to be in your favor. But they're saying that to not worry. You're very stressed. Now there are some things that you can do to protect yourself, and we'll cover those in a bit when we get to the cards across the top. Because for some of you actually could be going through, you know, a legal battle. Maybe something is in adjudication, it's in the legal system. Someone's trying to help make a determination. But I don't get a sense that it's like a divorce. There have been some of those today, but I don't get that's you, Aries. But maybe you're waiting on the decision to be made, and you're very fearful and worried that you are not going to get what is owed to you, that what is due to you, what is fair to you. It's almost like siblings fighting over money. That's interesting. For some of you, it's like you're fighting over an estate. You see, you've got this sword, and you've got these two kids, and they're looking up to it, kind of like, you know, you look up to a parent, it's glowing, but parent's not there. But this sword is of great value. It's illuminated. Like, who's going to get the sword? Who's going to receive this? Him or her? Or her. But you're very worried. You're very stressed. And it's really worn you down, because this is what's blocking you. And a lot of you don't have the strength to go on. This is a major arcana, strength. At the bottom it says the grace and inner strength needed to overcome challenges, the power of kindness and forgiveness, time to embrace how wonderful you are. And this is, you know, it's also found on the golden rule, treating people the way we would like to be treated, being kind and compassionate to others. You know, also having the courage to stand in our convictions, stand up for ourselves, and, you know, say no if we have to, not being afraid to do that. Also being empathetic, maintaining and being true to, because a lot of you're very caring, you're loving, you're compassionate. This is a situation that involves loved ones. So to continue being strong, continue standing firm, but also staying in a place of empathy and love and compassion and being considerate of others. You have, you know, she's got this lion and this lamb, and that's all about balancing the two, balancing the strength and yet gentleness. Having patience with those around you, having patience with the others that you're doing battle with, that you're trying to come to terms, come to an agreement, come to a decision with. Also forgiving them, forgiving ourselves. So for some of you, you're just at the point, Aries, that, and again, this is what's blocking you. You don't feel like that you have the strength to continue doing this battle. For some of you, it's really starting to affect your health. It's really wearing you down. And you're starting to get impatient and frustrated. And typically, if we really start, you know, if we've been doing battle over something, or we've been fighting something in the legal system, or we've been trying to get closure on something, it's been a very long time, what tends to happen is we get aggressive, we get impatient. You know, we throw kindness out the window. We're like, no, I'm gonna wield the sword instead, because this kindness and love is not working. Continue to stay in a state of love and compassion and kindness. But also some of you, they're saying it's like you're so tired of fighting. It's like you're to the point where you're like, I don't even care anymore. I don't care anymore. You do need to stand up for what you deserve. Have the strength to continue to do that battle, because you are almost at the end. And that is encouraging, because what you are unaware of is you have major arcana. It is release. At the bottom it says let go of the past, an ending that makes way for new opportunities, time to move on. And this really, I mean, in the traditional tarot, this would be the death card. And that's all about endings, completions, closing things, putting things in the past so that we can move forward. You know, releasing those attachments so that we're freed up, we're ready to move, we've got an ending, things have come to completion, now we can have a new beginning, new opportunities, move forward. And you're protected in this. You see there's this peacock? Because again, this is thoughts. You're really stuck in your mind. You really have a lot of worry at this time. You do have a lot of things going on at once. You got a lot of balls in the air. You're starting to really stress out about that, but you are protected. So remember that. Now, as far as what the angels are recommending you do this month, the first card you have is Inner Child. And at the bottom it says, I nurtured the child within me through playfulness and self-care. And you know what? She was all about children. You'll often hear, like, if a child is in an abusive home, and you know someone shows up to comfort that child, it's often Mother. It's either Jesus or Mother, but it's often Mother, because she loves children. Or children will smell roses, and they'll smell roses. That signifies that Mother is nearby. Some of you that are actually going through this situation, you've actually been smelling roses, they're saying. That's a sign to let you know that she's with you. She's helping you with this. Because for some of you, this is something that stems from your childhood. So what it's doing is it's causing some of those things to resurface. Some of those fears, some of those worries, some of those doubts to resurface. And they're saying to not be overly critical or judgmental of yourself. Don't feel bad about yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't feel as though you have done anything wrong, because you haven't. Because sometimes we'll feel so guilty, but it's self-destructive guilt. Like if we've done nothing wrong, especially children. When we're kids, you know, we will, you know, our parents can, you know, reprimand us for, you know, leaving our shoes out and tell us we're messy, and it can cause some emotional trauma where we think that we're a hot mess, we can't do anything right. But they didn't mean that when they kept telling us to pick up our shoes. They didn't mean to cause that long-term emotional trauma of, oh, I messed up everything, I make a mess, I can't get anything right in life. That wasn't it. But because children are so sensitive, they do take those little things, and it can cause long-lasting emotional, we'll say, experiences, lessons, things that they have to let go of instead of baggage and hurt and pain, but emotional things that they have to heal and overcome. Stepping back into a place of knowing I've done nothing wrong, I'm not guilty. Some of you need to remember that. And also some of you need to just have fun, because, you know, we all have an inner child. And, you know, if we're so busy constantly working and fretting and dealing with all these, this is the big situation you're dealing with, but also they're saying you've got a lot of balls in the air. You've got a lot of things going on right now. It will stress us. It will weigh us down. It will overwhelm us. Sometimes it'll also start to affect our health. But if we can start doing some things that are fun once a day, they're encouraging some of you to do something fun each day, because it will lift some of this heaviness. So, you know, do something that makes you laugh. Dance, you know, watch a funny movie. If you don't have time to commit to something like that, listen to some comedy on the radio, or do something that's just going to make you laugh and lift your spirits a little bit. Because if you can do that each day, this is still heavy stuff that you're dealing with. You are near the end, but it will lighten the load. It will lift your spirits. And that's what you're needing at this point, because this is really, really weighing you down. It's almost over. The other thing is they're encouraging you to take a little break. You have time for a nap. And this is really what it's talking about. It's about resting, stopping for a moment, stopping the action for a moment, just, you know, letting all the shackles and the things that are weighing us down and drowning us, just kind of letting those go for a moment. Take a reprieve, take a break, a little nap. And also when we sleep, you know, we'll get some information. Oftentimes we'll get some epiphanies and some insight in our dreams. So for some of you, they're saying when you go to sleep, ask, because Archangel Michael will help you remember your dreams. So ask Archangel Michael to help you remember your dreams, help you remember any insight, guidance, and information that they're trying to give you. And that way, because for some of you, you are so overwhelmed with stress that some of the intuitive information, insights, maybe some action steps that they're trying to give you, you're just not receiving them. Because you have all pistons flying in your brain right now. To be open to intuition and those things coming in, we have to be in a relaxed state, a peaceful state of mind. So for some of you, you are lacking, like the moon represents lack of clarity. You really don't have clarity. You're feeling kind of discombobulated. You're worried that this situation is not going to go in your favor. You're fearful. You don't know what your next steps are, but you're having trouble getting that clarity. Because again, there's just so much going on. So ask Archangel Michael, help you remember your dreams and the insight and the guidance that they give you, and they will give you some information in your dreams to assist you. They'll give you some next steps, which will help ease that burden a bit. Now, the last card that we have is Shield Yourself. Okay, and at the bottom there's a prayer. It says, Archangel Michael, I ask you to protect me, my loved ones, my vehicle, and my home with your powerful shield. Surround us in your purple light, which allows only pure love to penetrate. Please stay with me day and night and keep my loved ones safe. Name specific people or situations. And this really is about protecting yourselves. You know, in that intro, if you listen to the intro, I was talking about a lot of people right now are under psychic attack. So for some of you, this is that. You do need to ask for protection, you know, from any entities. The other thing that you can do in addition to asking Archangel Michael to protect you is you can there are crystals that will protect you. So like black obsidian is one that's really good. Fluorite, that also helps get you some intuitive information. But if you're going for one just for protection, you know, black obsidian, black onyx, those are all good. Just make sure that you clear them, cleanse them beforehand, and then you can wear them. They have jewelry that's made with those. You can also carry them in your pocket, whatever works for you. But for others of you, this is also about just physically protecting yourselves, because you're dealing with this situation. These people, some of you, it's like a legal battle. You know, you're struggling to continue to fight for yourself, to stand up for yourself, to protect yourself, your assets, and your investments. Because protecting yourself, it can be making sure you have health insurance, making sure that you have car insurance, making sure all your legal documentation, your T's are crossed, your I's are dotted. So for some of you, you need to there's some legal paperwork that you need to read and pay close attention to. Make sure that you are protected in the paperwork, the jurisdiction, the determination that's coming as a result of this, to make sure your interests are protected. Pay attention to the fine detail. Because for some of you, it could be a divorce that you're going through, but I get for most of you, it's like not a divorce. It's something with family. But either way, read the fine detail, read the fine print to make sure you are protected, you are covered. What is owed to you is coming to you. Sometimes we like to overlook that stuff, and that's where we get burnt. You don't want to get burnt by that, especially since you are at the tail end. For many of you, it is going to come to a completion this month. So, and congratulations, because they told me to grab the card off the bottom of the deck, and it is a favorable outcome. And there's a prayer. Thank you for the beautiful outcome to this situation, which is perfect and fair for everyone involved. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for helping me trust and have faith. You've got your scales here. You've got your scales here. It is going to turn out positive. You are going to receive what you are due, what is owed to you, what is fair, what is balanced. You just need to remember that, have faith in that. And congratulations, because for many of you, it is going to be done this month. Now, let's real quick, I will pull clarified. We'll just do all four of these real fast. We'll start with the winter. Yeah. So we have adjudication, community and despair. So there is some decision being made with regards to like a family unit, and you're just in a state of emotional despair. It's emotional stress, emotional exhaustion. You're in severe stress. You see he's weeping. You're just totally distraught over this decision that's being made, and you're fearful that you will be left out in the cold, that it will not be in your favor. But again, they're saying, don't worry. Don't worry. Do the common sense things that you have to do. We'll pull them justice next. Do the common sense things that you have to do. Protect yourself. Read the fine print. Make sure you have all your legal documentation in place. But get a little rest. Have a little fun. Let go. Let God deal with it. You know, we're not supposed to carry around a bunch of burdens. So you have a message of concern. She has her like hand over hurt and dismay and shock. You have the privileged lady and sudden wealth. So what has led to this decision is some of you received some unexpected information. Could have been about a wealthy parent, wealthy mother, wealthy grandmother. But you received some unexpected information about money coming in, like an estate that was left. But it's as though like it's, you know, they're telling you to pay close attention to the documentations, as though the person's will wasn't detailed enough to split things up. Because, you know, if you're wealthy, got some money, you've got jewelry. You know, they have put in their will that, okay, this property goes to this kid, and this property goes to this kid, and these two homes go to this other child. They have split up the big things. But when it comes to a abundant estate, you're talking jewelry, you're talking cars. I mean, it gets, the wealth is well beyond just property. So I get for some of you this jewelry, these things that are of value, those things weren't necessarily defined as to who gets those. So now you've got this family battling over who gets what. Because as much as you love people, the sad thing is oftentimes when money gets involved, it can sometimes bring the ugly out of people, especially if they're struggling financially. If you've got someone that they just really need some help financially, and if they could get some of this estate, which, you know, they're one of the children too, they are equally due to receive what their siblings are due to receive, that would really help them. That would really assist them and their family. But if you feel as though you're going to be cheated out of that by a sibling, you know, you can pull out that sword and start going to battle. And that is what has led to this. So for those of you that are out there, if you don't have a good detailed will, I'd recommend take this month to go on ahead and prepare one. So it is very, very much worth it. Even I'm, you know, not married, I got dogs, but I have a will that is very detailed, and it does get down into detail, jewels and all these different things, so that there are no questions as to who is going to be receiving what, because that does cause conflict sometimes. So what's blocking you? You have a main female. You are blocking you. You have bad health, and then you have unexpected income. So for some of you, it could be maybe you have a sibling that's a female, or someone that's trying to block you from receiving part of the estate that's due to you. But this is affecting your health because you are worrying so much, you are fearing so much. Some of you, you're having like a lot of stomach pain. They're saying some of you, if you don't calm down, you're going to start causing yourself some ulcers. But you're having digestive issues because you have your flora, your good bacteria, and all that stuff in your stomach. It's out of balance. Again, it's balance. It's all about balance. You're out of balance, so it's causing stomach issues. It could be causing, you know, diarrhea. It could be causing all types of stuff with your digestive system because you're just spinning, and your stomach's spinning, and your body's spinning, and it's affecting your health. Start doing something that's fun. Start doing something, I mean, even as silly as it is. Like sometimes I like to, because I can tell when I'm getting stressed. So I'll go get a body massage every couple of weeks to de-stress. It's also good with getting your lymphatic system going and getting your toxins going and releasing all that. And in this ascension time that we're in, it's good to go get massages and get all that stuff moving and out of you. But if I can't, and I can just tell that I'm just stressed and I need to laugh, sometimes I'll like look at other like little kids in a car and I'll start making silly faces at them and they'll make silly faces back and suddenly we're all cracking up and then their parents will get involved and everybody's laughing. It's easy. It's fast. It's not like dedicating 2 hours to a movie, but it makes you laugh. It lifts your spirits. It gets you out of the state of fret and worry, which does impact your health. Our thoughts, our emotions directly are correlated to our health. So you'll find if somebody's always, like, we've all got that friend. They're always so fearful of something going wrong. They're always so fearful of the worst happening. They're always so fearful of, well, this is going to happen to me again because bad things always happen to me and life is so horrible and things are just terrible. Well, that person typically has a ton of health issues. A ton of health issues. That's because our emotions are tied to our health. At some point I'll write a book after doing hundreds and hundreds of healing sessions. Every single client I've ever worked on, and God has worked to heal all their diseases and ailments, conditions. I mean, it just blows my mind. But the only times that someone had something that had to be healed that was not tied to emotions was torn muscles, broken bones, torn, stretched ligaments. Other than that, it's all tied to emotions. So if you are just completely distraught over this situation and the fighting and the haggling between family and how's it going to turn out? Am I going to get any money? Am I going to be left poor and tattered? You see, this is this tattered shirt. Those thoughts are spiraling out of control. And since for some of you, this has been a lengthy battle, this has been going on for a long time, it's affecting your health. So this month you can bounce yourself out of that. And last, yes, you are at a culmination. Praise God, it's almost over. You have toil and labor. This is a lot of tedious, hard, challenging work, giving it your all, night and day. Then you have the house, and you have the coffin. And again, this is the death card in traditional tarot. So this fight, this battle that you've been having within your family about an estate, about property, about investments, who's going to get what, that has just been a very dark, trying, filled with tribulations, and it's caused a lot of strife and it's put some divides, some lines in the family. That battle's about to be done. And for many of you, it will be done and put to rest this month. And they are saying you will then at that point, it'll be a few months down the road, be able to repair these conflicts and these emotions with your loved ones. You will be able to build a bridge and cross back over and repair those relationships. So you're almost there, Aries. It's good. It's going to turn out in your favor. It's going to work out well. So don't worry. Do keep praying, asking that God, just angels help you. Because remember, the key thing is the angels will not and cannot come in and help us without us asking. They only do that if it's life or death. So if you're in a car accident and it should have been a fatal car accident, but it is not your time to go home, they will step in and they will keep you from passing. But if you're going through all this heartache and trials and tribulations with family members and you're hoping that things go right, but you're fearful that they're not, but you're not asking for any help, they cannot come in and step on your free will and impose anything. So be sure you're asking for their help and it'll make it go a little bit smoother for you. So hopefully that helped everyone. I do wish you all an amazing month filled with a lot of love, joy, and blessings.